Greetings. Tonight I got a matchup for you from 1985. Buzzer versus Footloose. We're going to have some fun with this. I lost the show tonight. But before that, we're going to kick it off with some holiday cheer. And I'll be back in less than 5 on Joe Takes 70.
And the road feels long. 3 soldiers driving with a Christmas song. Dusty at the wheel says, man, we're making time. Airtight in the back, sips coffee on the line. Footloose next to him, smiling at the starful sky. Says the universe is bigger than the reasons why. They pull off the road under holiday lights. Just a quick gas stop on a peaceful night. But a roar shakes the calm like a splitting seam. Chainsaw buzzing like a wrecking dream. Leather boots stomp with the mean design. Troublemakers gather at pub number 9. Christmas at pub number 9, where tension rises but the stars still shine. One side breathing like it's all just fine, the other side losing its mind tonight. Back up, shout and let it all unwind. But steady hearts hold a steady line. Christmas ain't ruined by fool's design, not even at pub number 9. Buzzer the dreadnought with the chainsaw kicks the market door, growling, who parked that truck by my bike out front? Before Footloose shrugs, brother, take your time. Nobody wants trouble on a Christmas night. Torch the spark, happy brood flicks, matches bright. Ripper swings metal just to feel that bite. Dusty whispers to Footloose, you got this fight. Airtight size, man, this ain't my night. But Footloose steps out with the mellow grin. Says, breathe deep, let the peace begin. The chainsaw roars like a wild design. I'll shred your ride into holiday signs. Christmas at pub number 9, where the wild ones push past the line. One side standing with the soldier's spine, the other side losing its mind tonight. Back up chanting, hit that sign, but steady hearts never resign. Brothers in arms hold their line, even at pub number 9. Chainsaw screaming, sleigh bells ring, and snow kicks up as the sparks start spinning. Dusty warns, that's my truck, so best not cross that line. Airtight groans, can't we just get home this time? Boots plant firm in the drifting snow, calm as a monk in the mistletoe glow. Brother, let the nonsense go, then a single throw drops the whole sideshow. Christmas at pump number 9, where peace wins out every time. Chaos scrambles in a tangled line. A slip, a spark, then they all decline. Falling in the snow, making crooked signs, while steady hearts call it cosmic design. And 3 friends roll off down the state line. Merry Christmas, pump up number 9. Merry Christmas, pump up number 9. The wheel says, next time we're flying. Airtight shakes his head, next time we're staying home. Footloose just chuckles, next time we need to bring some eggnog.
Joe Mature content warning. On Logan's Joe Takes, strategic commentary may include strong language, heated opinions, classified references. Time to call in the Joes. Opposing forces may attempt audio interference. Logan's Joe Takes. Mission begins now.
Welcome in. I am Logan, the G.I. Joe Gamer. Merry Christmas. Tonight we are going to have a mashup from 1985. I'm going to talk about two characters that are not as in the popular versions of G.I. Joe. They don't have very many figures. Footloose has 5, Buzzer has 4. We'll talk a little bit about that before I jump into here and show you the figures. Footloose had his original figure in 1985 and 1989. The same figure came out with a different color scheme for Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders. In 2005, there was a Valor versus Venom figure, which I don't own. In 2009, Footloose came with a multi-pack that was Assault on the Pit, and I have that, and so I've got that figure I'm going to show you. And then in 2012, they had Footloose in another set that I don't have that looked more like the original because the one in the Assault on the Pit was more towards the movie, and so that's how that works. Now, I'll talk about Buzzer a little bit. I want to get to that character before we do that, though. We're going to jump into Footloose here. Talk about this character. Hello, cool gamer. Welcome in, buddy. It is good to see you. We're looking at Footloose tonight, and here is the 1985 vintage Footloose. Now, this is not my original Footloose. I played this with this character so much that my original figure basically fell apart. I replaced him with my Sergeant Slaughter's Marauders parts, and then that fell apart. And then at some point in the 90s, I actually found this figure carded in a thrift store for $1, and I picked him up really quick. But it's rare when stuff like that happens, but it's cool, and I when it does, it's nice. Now, Footloose came with a rocket launcher, Law Rocket, and well, not a Law Rocket, but like this little bazooka basically, and an M16, your standard M16, just like Grunt. Grunt came with an M16. Both infantry troopers. Now, Footloose was supposed to phase Grunt out, but that never happened. Grunt went, did his own thing and then came back, and they're both the two G.I. Joe infantry troopers. They could stand right next to each other and still be cool. Grunt, the green shirts are based off of Grunt, so that's kind of cool. But Footloose, man, this character is unique to the rest of the Joes, and in personality and everything. And we'll get some music in the background here. Now, he came with a standard backpack. Now, mine, for some reason, this backpack never really fit his back. But I have a trick with a little piece of paper. I don't know if you can see that, but stick a little piece of paper in there, a little tissue or something, and it makes it fit and makes it so it doesn't fall out. But without the paper, I'll show you, just doesn't really stay very well. It just falls off like, hey, well, there it is. So I'm going to set that aside here. Now, Footloose, I loved his helmet. This dude, man, and the mustache, and just everything about him. He looks so cool, totally military, And back then, that's what we wanted. We wanted some cool, military-looking Joes. But that being said, my favorite is his buddy, Airtime. But I always thought Footloose was super cool, super suave dude, and I love him in the cartoon. Such a cool character. We'll get into all that, talking the cartoon and everything here in just a minute. But I'm going to show you my 25th anniversary version of Footloose, which, like I said, came with that Assault on the Pit set that had Duke and Repeater, and man, I can't remember all that. Law and Order was in that set too, so it was kind of cool. And he's in desert camo. I thought that was badass. If I can get him to stay on his battle stand, now that'll work. Their pegs were way different on the 25th anniversary line. Once you get them on there, though, they stay pretty good. Now his battle stand actually says Footloose, so there you go. See that? It's kind of cool. Hey, Jess, welcome in. Don't worry about being late. I'm just getting started, showing off the vintage figures, and Oh, well, you know, they only count the original line as vintage for some reason, but they're all vintage now. I mean, most of them are more than 20 years old. Um, but yeah, like this guy here, 2007. In 2 years, he'll be 20 years old too. So when does vintage start? You know, you can't buy it anymore except like on the aftermarket. So there it is. But yeah, putting them side by side, the 25th anniversary figure and the original. You know, I'm digging the original still better. I love the colors. Now, like I said, they had another one in the 25th anniversary line, but that looked more like this one. But I don't have that one. I am live. I am. I'm here. I'm live. This is Joe Takes. How you doing? That takes us to the classified figure. And there's your box. Footloose. Doesn't say his name. Andrew D. Myers on there. You know, and then it's got the stupid stuff on the side. And this is number 156 in the series. It's on top. And then we got the back, which shows the figure off with pictures and highlights the stuff on his arm for some reason, and his rocket launcher, but I'll show that too. And then, you know, we got some cool box art. Give him the peace sign, dude. All right. So that is the classified box for G.I. Joe Footloose, the infantry trooper. Now, for some reason, they didn't call him. You know, they don't have their job titles on the new stuff, because that's actually kind of better, I think. Because then you can just say whatever you want he's doing today. You woke up this morning-ish with a few numb fingers, and his one is still numb. Well, that sucks, Jess. Okay. Well, hopefully we can get that sorted. Now, the loadout here on this figure is pretty cool, and we're going to get into that during the matchup. But as you can see, he's got the M16 without the strap. I don't know. I kind of like the strap, but I don't know if they could do it properly in the classified versus the OG. And then you've got the rocket launcher, which I'm going to definitely show off in the mashup, and a decent backpack, which sort of kind of, you know, resembles the original, but not exactly. But that's okay. It's just a backpack. Who cares? You know, I'm not really into the backpacks and those kind of accessories. I love the guns, rocket launchers. He's got a sidearm back there too, if you can see it. And there is his combat knife. So he has the standard issue combat knife, sidearm. He's got his primary weapon, and then he has a special weapon. So he's totally loaded out. They did a good job with this figure. My only issue with this figure is the helmet. And the reason why is because this thing here is night vision goggles. They don't move down. You know, they're just stuck in place. They're glued on there. Now, a lot of the other Joes came with the accessory where you could pop it off and put it back in. I guess they were thinking, oh, we're going to lose it. You know, but we're adults. Most of us are adult collectors, and I think we would do just fine with just the helmet and not this stupid thing sticking off his head that we can't move or get rid of. And the design on the original helmet is what sold Footloose. I mean, look at that with the leaves and everything. It was so cool. And they did that on this one, but it's tainted with the stupid night vision, at least in my opinion. Slept with your hand under your head and didn't move at all until you got up. Yeah, I've done that before. Man, that sucks. But I thought it was a really decent. This is a really decent version of Footloose, and hopefully, if they do a retro version of Footloose, they'll get rid of the stupid night vision goggles. But you know, here's hoping, right? All right. So next up in this matchup from 1985, we have the Dreadnought Buzzer. Now, I never had his original accessories because I traded just for the figure. I think I actually traded comics for this character. So I gave him the battle pack accessory, a little axe that he came with originally. Now this figure is really cool. I like the way this character looks. Buzzer is like one of my least favorite Dreadnoughts though. But I'm glad I get to match him up against Footloose because they only have 4 of these action figures in the entire vintage line. Now, this one came out in 1985, but it was definitely made for the 1984 release because it doesn't have the ball joint on the head where you can move the head down and back like that. On this, it's just solid. You can just go left and right. That's all you can do on it. But in 2004, there was a convention exclusive buzzer, and I think the 2005 version was a collector's club exclusive. So yeah, those two. The 2004 character was only, it was basically one of these with different colors. And then in 2007, they came out with the 25th anniversary buzzer, which I have to show you. YouTube doesn't want you to talk about it. yeah, they're cracking down. They really want to police our speech, you know. How un-American is that? Yeah. There we go, though. But that's life. It is what it is. It's their platform. I guess they can do what they want. Codename Buzzer. Battle stand. Look at that chainsaw. That chainsaw came out so cool with the flames. Oh, man. And then all he has is the gas can backpack, which the original came with, too. And he came with a chainsaw originally, but I never had it. And that's what sucked about my Buzzer. And maybe I'd have liked him a little better if I'd have had his chainsaw because, man, I love this weapon. It's like, buzzsaw, man. A chainsaw ripping through everything. It's diamond tipped, so he can like cut through anything. Supposedly, you know, that's the original storyline there. But there's the 25th anniversary buzzer, and you know what? I happen to have a carded example of the same figure. I managed to pick up a lot of these 25th anniversary figures. There's his file card for you to read and weep. No, this one actually was decent, but you know, it's the 25th anniversary with a silver border, so it was really cool. I'm glad I got an extra copy, but it's the same figure, and like you can see, it only came with the chainsaw and the backpack with the gas can, and not his axe. Now, originally the axe was like grayish silver, you know, but you know that's how it is. You know, that's right. We'll set him there. And we're going to check out something else real quick because Dreadnoks, for me, what would a Dreadnought be without their motorcycles, their biker gang? And they came out with some, you say fuck, but not, yeah, okay, I get it, Jess. That's why we have the mature content warning. All right, but I picked up these a couple years back, and I managed to get one for all my 3 3/4 inch figures. Actually, it was a bit more than a couple of years. It's been about 5 years. Bowie, that sword. A Bowie knife. You can't say a Bowie knife? Yeah, I believe, yes. I thought this one fit Buzzer really well with the coloration. And I'm going to put the 25th anniversary figure on here. I want to show you this really cool thing with this bike. You can do with this particular bike. I managed to catch his chainsaw as I dropped it. We'll put him on the motorcycle, and this particular bike and this chainsaw work very well together. You can take the chainsaw and wrap it right around the head of that right there, and he can have it right there, just ready to go, man. Dreadnought style, man. Dreadnoughts. And yeah, I dig the Dreadnoughts, and I'm going to do a Dreadnought for my season finale here coming up. And I think March or April. Let me double check here, so you guys will know. I got a bunch of stuff lined up for this year. Yes, and Joe Takes 77 Dreadnought Sub-Teams Update Season Finale, and then I'm going to do all the Dreadnoughts. We're going to take a look at them, and that's going to be in March, just like I thought. Waiting to get another one because 4 isn't enough. I get you. I got plenty of knives myself. Wow. And swords. I like to collect swords too. But this is cool to have the ability to go buy motorcycles and put them on them. Now, Hasbro missed the boat. They could have made some really cool, compatible bikes and sold them with the bikes and separately, and people would have bought both. I'm telling you right now. Dreadnoughts with motorcycles. There you go. Now, actually, it's closer to scale with the 3 3/4 inch than the 4 inch from the 25th anniversary. But I don't want to mess this figure up trying to stick his hands on these handlebars. But there's your Buzzer from the vintage era and the 25th anniversary era. So now we're going to take a look at the classified box for Buzzer. Now, see, just Dreadnought Buzzer. They always got to put Dreadnought on there like you don't know he's a Dreadnought, but, you know, it's not part of his code name. He's number 106 in the series, shortly after Ripper came out at 102. And then you got the back. Some cool stuff that he showed you with his tats and his skull belt, his skull and crossbones belt. Nothing on the top. Number wasn't even there on the top. Number is only on the sides for this particular figure, and the side art on the box is very cool. I wish they'd have had that on the front more than the picture. I'm not really a big fan of the picture ones, but now they have the window packaging back, so we don't have to look at that anymore. What was cool about those, though, is they came out with the boxes that the figure sits in inside, and it has the box art and the side art on the inside, but black and white, and man, that looks cool. Some of them look so much cooler than color, actually. This one, I'm giving it about the same for me. I really like the black and white. I really like the color. Now, they also came with a foot blocker. It's in a little boxes to make it fit in there, too, but Dreadnought Buzzer, number 106. And what we got here? Now, I'm going to pop this open because there ain't nothing in there right now. I got all the accessories out to show you. Now I'm going to put the accessories in it as I take a look at them. Now, he came with some cool stuff. He came with the chain axe, the flail axe, like the vintage came with a flail axe. Now, I like this one. This one's really cool. I like what they did with it. And you can move it around, you know, and the handle. So cool. Fits right in the character's hand, and when I do the on Joe Takes clip that I'll show near the end, I really show these off really well. He also came with a battle axe. Isn't that badass? Look at that. Well, spike on the top. It looks like he took two buzz saws and slapped them on a pole or a baseball bat. It looks like a baseball bat, and just bolted them into the bat, and then, you know, put some duct tape around the freaking baseball bat. Going to town with this bad boy. All right, now let's look at the classified version of Buzzer. Now, we got Ripper as number 102 just before this one. That figure is fantastic. Everything worked on that figure. The glasses fit. Everything was perfect. This guy right here is wobbly, and it might just be mine, but he doesn't stand up very well. Even with a battle stand, he falls over all the doggone time. He does come with a sidearm and a combat knife, which, like I said, in the mashup, we'll get into that. And his chainsaw, which is kind of warped. And I've tried to do the heating thing to get it so it's not warped, but, you know. Now, his major issue is the glasses. They don't stay on his head. Now, I have them. I'm going to be very careful because they fall off so easy, and I don't want to drop them on the floor because they look just like my carpet, and they're hard as hell to find. I've dropped them several times and just don't want to even let go, really. There's what it looks like with the glasses on, and I'm going to, while they're on his face, I'm going to compare him to the original and the 25th anniversary if I don't knock it off there. And what was the deal? What was it? Why couldn't they get these to fit his head? Call quality control, Hasbro. And they won't stay. And during filming, I had such a hard time filming my G.I. Joe movie, G.I. Joe Lady Blood Right, which I need to finish up in January and put out in April. But they're really cool, like John Lennon style glasses compared to the kind of visor thing that he had before. Very cool glasses. And that's kind of the he had worn in the comics all the time. We'll get into it. But they just don't stay on his head. And I even tried putty on the inside. But man, that's hard to clean out. And if I let it dry, man, that stuff would have been a bear to get out of there. But because once putty dries, it stays really good. And it did stay for a bit. But I had a scene where Clutch popped him in the face. And the glasses fell off. And I'm like, I'm going to say he broke those glasses. And then he doesn't have them the rest of the movie. So there it is, because they don't stay on. So I'm going to take these glasses and put them right in his foot locker. along with his axe flail and his battle axe. And he came with some kick-ass weapons. So there's a lot of cool stuff that came with this Buzzard figure. But, you know, the wobbliness, and he falls over, and the glasses don't stay on. There were just so many things. Other than that, he looks pretty good. I mean, compared to the vintage, he looks awesome. I mean, pretty cool. I mean, on the vintage, he didn't have a sidearm and a combat knife, but they gave him one. Because, you know, who goes into battle without the ability to have backup weapons? This Dreadnought didn't. He just had his chainsaw and his little flail, and that was it. Which is okay for back in the day, because they did a pretty good job back then. And the little ponytail that they did back in the day was so cool for you know, how they did this. But man, they did it just right on this one. So like I said, there's a lot of things to love about this figure, but there's also a lot of things to not love, because it just I mean, look, I barely touched it and it fell over. I mean, the ratchet in there is horrible. Like I said, it could be mine. Should make a barracks for you. I would love that. Barracks. I don't have any space to put stuff though, or I'd have a lot of cool stuff. I even had my headquarters on display for a long time. My 1983 G.I. Joe headquarters that I've finally seen. Like, it just barely touched it. It just, like I said, and the feet. If you don't put them on just right, and if they go forward even a little bit, he'll just fall right over. His ankle rockers are just terrible. You know, and like I said, it could just be mine, but I've heard a lot of people complain about this figure. But, you know, other than that, look at it. It looks awesome. And now, if the glasses would have stayed on, I'd have been happy with this figure, even with the wobbly. But, like I said, Buzzard, not necessarily my favorite Dreadnought. One of my least favorite, actually. But, cool figure. I love the Dreadnoughts. So, all of my, I dig all the Dreadnoughts. So, we're going to get into that. All right, I'm going to put these over here. Now that I got his accessories put away, set this bike down. I do love giving them motorcycles, so that was, I should take more photos. In G.I. Joe Blood Ride, I have a scene where all the Dreadnoughts, they're on the vintage figures, and they're just riding down the road on their motorbikes, and it looks pretty cool. So hopefully you can check that out on some of my old Joe takes. Over the summer, I had some clips from G.I. Joe Lady Blood Ride. With little cats, how many figures do you have? The little ones and the bigger ones, each number separately. With little cots. Oh, cots. I thought you said cats. Cots, no cots. I had to get some cots. I have some accessories where I have some cots, but generally that was another line. I think with the mobile pit that came out for G.I. Joe the movie, they had some cots in there. So I've got some of that. So yeah. You're laughing because I said cat. But yeah, here's my Footloose. I'm going to leave the classified figures right over here because we're going to mash them up after I give my take on these guys. We're going to start with Footloose, and we're going to talk comics. So I'm going to do comics for Footloose and then Buzzard. And then I'll talk the cartoon for Footloose and Buzzard from Sunbow. Neither of them were in the Deke series. Footloose was a little bit as a Slaughter's Marauder in the Operation Dragonfire movie, but he didn't have any dialogue. And we're talking about a dude, man, who has this really cool voice. And, you know, from the Sunbow cartoon, they did virtually nothing with him. And if he spoke, I don't remember it. So, you know, it wasn't that memorable. In Operation Dragonfire from Deke, which that actually is a good movie. And some of the episodes of the series were okay. But overall, it just, everybody compares it to the Sunbow series because it was so good, you know. So that's where we're at with it. But comic book wise, Footloose first appeared in G.I. Joe 37 with Flint, and he's got his only cover appearance there. And look at that, he got Footloose, but what's missing? His mustache. It's like it doesn't even really look like Footloose, but it's supposed to be Footloose. And let me see if I can give you a better look at this particular cover. There we go. But again, no mustache. And Tomax and Zaymot first appeared in that one too. They're 1985 guys too, so it was pretty cool. Of course, this was followed up by this awesome cover. But yeah, Footloose. There he is. As far as I can tell, only cover appearance. I could be wrong, but it's the only one that really stands out. The only one on that when I googled it, it was the only one they showed that he was on. So there we are with that. But Dreadnoks, oh my goodness, they first appeared in issue 25, all three of them. Now that cover is Dragonfly and Zartan all mashed up, really cool on the moccasin, and you got Wild Bill, and it's just such a kick-ass cover. And I have showed it off many times, but I'm going to save it again for they're supposed to do a retro Wild Bill this next year, so hopefully I'll be able to pick up Wild Bill and I'll give my take on Wild Bill at some point, because he's one of my top 10 favorites. But in issue 30, and I'll show you the original cover first, because there it is. I don't have this one anymore. I used to have it. I sold it when I had my comic book store, and I wish I hadn't, but I can pick this up. They're not too expensive still if you can find them. But this was a good issue. But I have the comic book pack version that came with I think River and Torch. No, it was Buzzer and Torch. Yeah, that's where the extra. It was Ripper and Torch, not Buzzer. Buzzer was the one that didn't come with this set. And there he is, front and center on the cover. And you got Ripper right here. They should have been the ones in this set, but it was Ripper and Torch. But I like Torch. Torch is my favorite Dreadnought, so I was happy when it happened. What's your question, Jess? I don't have... I answered your question. I did. I answered it. I don't have very many cots. You care how many cots you have. I don't know how... I don't... Need to know the number of figures, how many little guys and how many bigger guys. I don't get what you mean. I don't get it. What's that? Oh, I got, Jess, I don't know. I've got like 500 plus of the little figures mixed up between the 25th anniversary and the vintage. And then I've got well over 100 of the G.I. Joe classified. I haven't counted it. Especially since I got to 100, it was like I was counting them before that, but afterwards got to 100, and they're all mixed up. And then you got the retro figures that they throw in there, and it really is hard to keep track of it, and I don't even bother. So anyway, issue 29, that was right before it. Really cool cover with Destro Roadblock, and that is Duke in there, man. I did the Duke reissued, and I forgot about that one, but you can hardly tell it's Duke. Anyway, we'll take a look at the next one in the Dreadnought. They've got some other really cool Dreadnought covers, but this has Monkey Wrench, Buzzer right there in the middle, and Ripper, and the Thunder Machine. You can't really see Thrasher, who's driving. Of course, you have this really kick-ass cover they got right afterwards with Quick Kick and Storm Shadow. But man, Dreadnoughts 51. This was such a cool issue. I enjoyed this. So yeah, I have lots of figures, Jess. So more than 600. Let's just put it that way. I got over 100 vehicles too from the vintage line that I haven't really showed off yet, but I want to, really to. Speaking of vehicles, let me see. Let you get a better look at this cover before let me finish talking about the comics before we jump into these covers, and I'll talk a little bit about what happened with Buzzer and Footloose in the comics, because not really a lot, but the best Buzzer cover ever is issue 79, where he actually took a chainsaw to poor Junkyard the dog, and man, did have a mean on for him for a while afterwards. So, but I do have this one. But I have most of this. I have all the series thanks to Per in a 4-volume hardback that I've checked. I got that on my For Love of Comics series. You can check out that I showed off. But I really love that and appreciate that from Per, so I can read the entire series when I want to, which I haven't done for a while. I've been wanting to get into it. But yeah, this cover was badass. The one after it, not so much. I mean, it was the Rolling Thunder and the Ghost Striker X-19 fighter jet, stealth fighter jet. which was okay on issue 80 for number 80 though. Well, this was a better cover. I mean, right before it with Buzzer and poor little junkyard. Oof! Where he got cut with a chainsaw, which was so sad. But he recovered. Tough dog. He recovered. So there's the look at the comics. Now, in the comics, Footloose kind of appeared and had a few appearances here and there, but then that was it. I mean, Larry Hama didn't really do much with him. He was just another infantry trooper guy, and that's what he said. And when he first appeared, he's phased out Grunt, but he really didn't. Grunt actually had more appearances after Footloose appeared in the storyline than Footloose did. So, Larry Hama had his characters, and I'm partial to the original 13 myself. So, I get it. Now, as far as Buzzard's concerned, though, man, him and the Dreadnoks had so many misadventures, and that's what you got to call them. They showed up with Zartan and his shack in issue 25. They didn't really do much in that issue. In issue 30, they attacked McGuire B. I think they attacked the same airfield in 25, but that's what it says on Google. But I don't remember that. I remember it being issue 30 or 31. Yeah, that's issue 30. Yeah. And then later on they had another one where right shortly afterwards where they had the Dreadnoks on a rampage, and there was a really cool storyline with Clutch, Grunt, and Clutch, Breaker, and Rock and Roll, where they were driving down the road, and Rock and Roll's tricked out Chevy from the 50s, man. It was a really cool car, and Buzzer rode by and just took the chainsaw to the side of his car, and oh man, Rock and Roll went after his butt for the entire issue. They chased down his Dreadnok, and the Dreadnoks got away at the end. It was like, oh! But yeah, it was fun. It was a really cool storyline. Dreadnok showed up with Serpentor, and there was some cool stuff. Interaction, just talking. But, really, it was always Dreadnoks together. There's no definitive Buzzer story, even in the cartoon or the comics. He's kind of like the leader of them when Zartan, Xandar, and Zorana are not around. And now Zanya, she's supposed to be coming out in the classified line, Zartan's daughter here, so the Zartan family. When they're not around, Buzzard's kind of the leader. Now there is something and I will get talking about the cartoon here. The Sunbow cartoon was really good. They first appeared, the Dreadnoks, in Revenge of Cobra, and then in 1985 the series kicked off. And Footloose was in the Pyramid of Darkness, and he teamed up with Airtight, and it was pretty cool. And they introduced him, and he was a really cool character. Not much, had some really good issues here and there on episodes here and there. But really the best one was him and Dusty in Hearts and Cannons. And if you know, you know. If you don't, you don't. But Hearts and Cannons, they bailed out of a plane because it was too heavy over the desert. They had pitched them all around. They had pitched all the heavy equipment, and they were still 400 pounds too heavy. And, it's the age-old story where you just need a little bit more weight off the plane so you can get to the last destination fuel-wise. And so Footloose said, we're the 400 pounds. And they put on parachutes. Him and Dusty bailed out. And they went and they woke up in the desert, and Footloose was freaking out because there was a scorpion by his head. And he's all, dude, help, help. It was pretty funny. And Dusty just comes up and it stings his boot. And he goes, cute little guy. And they had such a dynamic, those two, Dusty and Footloose. And I enjoyed that cartoon. Footloose also hung out with Alpine in an episode, The Viper's Coming, which is a great episode where this old window wiper was kept calling the barbecue's house going, I come on Friday to wipe your windows. But he was just saying, I am the Viper. I come on Friday. And he never said he was going to wipe the windows or anything until the very end, and it was hilarious. And Footloose and Alpine actually climbed Enterprise Tower for Tomax and Zaymot's corporate headquarters, and onward and upward, and it was pretty cool. And in the party, they were at Barbecue's place at the beginning. Alpine was trying to teach him how to climb. It was pretty cool. It was a nice interaction because Alpine normally hangs out with Bazooka, and so it was different and it was cool. And let me see if I can think of any other Footloose episodes. Not really. He was there, and he hung out with him. My favorite episode of all, Worlds Without End. It's a two-parter. Him, Airtight, Barbecue. They were with Flint for most of that, and they went to this other dimension that was where Cobra ruled the world, and G.I. Joe was all dead. And it was a very dark and adult episode. Adult-minded, I should say, not adult, but more mature orientated. Let's just put it that way. Let's see. Sorry, you have to make like 27 separate barracks. It's going to take forever. No, you don't have. You can't talk about. I can't talk about your fireplace. Why? You talking about my fireplace? We got the stockings there hung on the man. Off the mantle over the fire. On the mantle with care. And Jess wants you to come in here right now so she can talk to you.
Only G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe.
Oh, Tiger's is only G.I. Joe is G.I. Joe, if you didn't hear that. Tiger's not a big G.I. Joe fan, but that's okay. We have a lot of other things in common that we like to do together. Now, so where does that leave us? That leaves us with the characters. And I have forgotten to upload the file cards to let you guys hear those videos, but I've got some cool stuff for you. I got a mashup. And I got to give you my opinion on both characters here while the file cards are loading up. But I wanted to share the file cards before I gave my final take on both characters. And then, instead of the way I was doing a checklist the last couple of times for 82, 83, and then 84, I have presented a video for the checklist for 1985, and I put that together. It turned out really cool. I'm probably going to do the rest like that. I might go back and do the other two, 82, 83 together, and then 84. But here we go. We got G.I. Joe Footloose. Code name Footloose file card.
G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world. Yo, Joe. Code name Footloose. Infantry trooper. File name Andrew D. Myers. Grade E5 Sergeant, U.S. Army. Birthplace Gary, Indiana. Primary specialty infantry. Secondary specialty special services. Basketball coach. Footloose is a physical fitness specialist for the G.I. Joe team. He makes sure the team is at the top of their strength and agility at all times. His combat readiness training is notorious for being the most grueling and demanding regimen ever experienced. Myers was valedictorian of his high school class, captain of the track team, and an Eagle Scout. He was going for his degree in Phys Ed on a state scholarship when he suddenly dropped out, moved to the coast, and became quite weird for about 3 years. He was standing on the boardwalk in Venice, California, pondering something cosmic when the utter pointlessness of his existence hit him between the eyes like a runaway freight train. "I think I'll join the army," he said, and promptly did. He took basic and advanced infantry training at Fort Benning. His teammates respect him, although they still think he acts a little weird sometimes. From General Hawk's file. Some of the Joes think that Footloose is out there, but all he's trying to do is find himself. He's the all-American boy who got lost on the way to the fair, and he's simply trying to go home any which way he can. Most folks think they know who they are and where they're going. They're the dangerous ones. I'm pondering something cosmic. Destro must be slipping. There's at least half an inch of fence unguarded. Super Swadu! G.I. Joe is the code name for America's daring, highly trained special mission force. Its purpose, to defend human freedom against Cobra, a ruthless terrorist organization determined to rule the world. Code name Buzzer. Dreadnought Chainsaw Specialist. Dick Blinken or Richard Blinken Smythe. Birthplace: Cambridge, England. Specialty and MO or modus operandi: demolitions. Secondary specialty: civil disturbances. Scavenger of the swamps, Buzzer can cut through steel, wrought iron and any metal except almond-tooth chainsaw. Buzzer was an extreme left-wing Cambridge sociology don who went to Australia to research the biker gang phenomenon, only to be transformed into the very subject of his research. Years of intellectual displeasure caused repressed psychotic anger, manifested in an intense desire to chainsaw apart the expensive gewgaws of Dankalocha society. Cobra Commander knows I can't read. As a former college student, this is clearly a lie for the benefit of his fellow dreadnoughts. Say your prayers, mate! Buzzer to gung-ho, the Marines' response: now I lay you down to sleep! Now get down there and see if we got any prisoners.
Now get down there and see if we've got any prisoners. I really enjoyed Buzzer in the cartoon, which I'm kind of glad I played the file cards because it gave me time to think a little bit about what I've been saying. And I didn't really talk about Buzzer in the cartoon much. Like I said, he was in Revenge of Cobra, and he was kind of just there with Zartan and the Dreadnoughts. In several episodes, though, the Dreadnoughts, they're always so cool. They hang out together, and they all just do so much damage and riding around on their motorbikes. And particular episodes, though, I really couldn't nail one down and say this is a Dreadnought episode. There's many episodes with Dreadnoughts in it. Even Rise Serpent or Rise have the Dreadnoughts in it. Let me get this back up here. So why did he do what he did to the other guy's dog? Aren't they both Joes? No. Dreadnoughts are not Joes. They're a motorcycle gang, and they mostly work for Cobra. So they are basically terrorists. They're bad guys for sure. I mean, these guys are mean SOBs, man. They go around and they just destroy everything in their path. I mean, if you heard my song Dreadnoughts, it nails it to a T exactly what the Dreadnoughts do. They just go around, they take what they want, they do what they want, and they party with chocolate donuts and grape soda. I mean, I know Larry Hama said chocolate donuts and grape soda to learn some drugs or anything, but Larry Hama said no, they prefer the chocolate donuts and grape soda. Instead of alcohol and drugs, they like chocolate donuts and grape soda. Buzzer is a Cobra? Nah, sorta. I mean, he works for Cobra, but the Dreadnoughts are kind of their own thing. The highest bidder, yeah, that's what Tiger's saying. They go for the highest bidder. And if there's gold involved, they'll take the job, man. I love this skull belt. Yeah, I forgot to show that off. I did that I do in the on Joe Takes video. But yep, he's a dreadnought and not a GI Joe. So no, yeah, they kind of ran into the dreadnoughts and they were they had staked out Zartan's garage and they got discovered and the dreadnoughts came out and the Joes won the battle, but Buzzer did take a chainsaw to the junkyard and then the dreadnoughts took off. Naturally, the Joes went after them. And a few issues later, Mutt went after them on his own because, took a chainsaw to his dog, man. He was going to get some payback. And he did. He beat the hell out of Buzzer, but there you go. I mean, what more? He's not going to kill him. He's a good guy. So, but yeah. So yeah, in the cartoon, Buzzer was fun. I mean, they say some lines like "Cobra Commander knows I can't read," which is ridiculous because he was a college student who went to study the biker phenomenon to do his thesis on it and ended up becoming the subject of the study. Do they sometimes work for the Joes? They pay enough? No. They have worked with the Joes, but Joes don't pay them. No, for survival, but never ever. Never ever have they say they worked with the Joes. Zartan is the exception to that in the comics. He's worked with the Joes a few times. Are you going to knock my kid down? Is that what you're doing? Hello, Luna. Peeking over my comic books. Better not. Little girl. No. All right, so that goes to my opinion on the two characters. Now, as far as I'm concerned, Footloose is a standalone dude. He doesn't, just because he's an infantry trooper like Grunt. Logan, a bunch of people said they want you to do a Flash radio show after. No, no, I don't think so tonight, Jess. I got lots to do, and this is Joe Takes is a big process. I have a lot to get out and a lot to put away afterwards. I have a lot of cleanup. So yeah, radio show after a Joe Take is probably not a good idea for me. But yeah, we're going to get into the matchup here. But he's in the same squad as like Airtight and Dusty, and their squad leader is Bazooka, and their team leader is Beachhead. Yeah, they're basically their platoon sergeant, and that's just the way I see it. He's a sergeant. I mean, he started out as an E4, but eventually they all get promoted. And yeah, he was looking for that command duties. Even in the episode Excalibur, he was giving orders to both Quick Kick and Spirit outranked him. So he's like going for that sergeant even back then. So I'm sure he would have acquired that at some point. All those people would be sad now. All those people, I love all those people, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to do that tonight. Yes. Oh my goodness. But anyway, so yeah, I always thought he was really cool. I love the way he spoke like a surfer dude, but yet, he's pondering something cosmic. And there's a scene in Hearts and Cannons where Dusty, was it Dusty's Dusty? No, it was the gal they rescued. I can't remember her name, but this doctor, and they were both trying to hit on her and get her to date him, but because they're dudes. But she had stepped on a landmine, and he all just sat down, and then Dusty's all looking around because he's taking care of the cobras, and she's like, "What do I do? I'm standing on a landmine." He goes, "Hold on, I'm pondering something cosmic." And they went to a commercial right then. It was pretty cool, the original cartoon. And then when they came back, he said, I have an idea. The universe is the universe, and everything is everything. So, like, to that landmine, your foot it's just heavy. It's just like this rock. And he switched places with a rock, and he saved her life, and it was pretty cool. And that was Footloose. In a nutshell, I just dug this character, and Dusty's trying to show off, and he's all I'm Footloose, and up there I'm Dr. Footloose, because she said she was a doctor. And he goes up there on the roof of the Jeep they had stolen. He goes, "That's Dusty. He's just an intern." It was pretty funny. But yeah, you gotta check out Hearts and Cannons. If you haven't seen that and you're a G.I. Joe fan, that's one of the best cartoons that they made for G.I. Joe. Dusty and Footloose, and um, Dusty punched some cobra and knocked him into an alarm and set off all the alarms. He goes, super suave, dude. It's just, that was Footloose, and it was so cool. And he was cool in just about anything. He was in little bit parts here and there, but that was his biggest one, was Hearts and Cannons with Dusty, and I really enjoyed it. And for me, I mean, he's like the dude you want on your team, just because you know he's going to have your back. So I like Footloose a lot. I mean, he's not in my top 10, but he's up there, and I always portray him as the best friend to my favorite Joe, Airtight. And there was a really cool storyline in the IDW where Dusty and Airtight got captured, and that's something I'll talk about later, but in a different thing. But he usually was paired up with either Dusty or Airtight, and sometimes he was Alpine the one time. It was kind of cool. So yeah, he can hang out with any of the Joes and fit right in with the entire group. And party animal like barbecue, so they got along great, you know. All those people who said that's funny. However, I can't talk about Footloose without talking about his ride. You know, he had a ride that he really loved to ride around on. And it was the Ostriker and his buddy Crankcase over there from 1985. The Ostriker, they do have a classified version, and I don't know when I'm going to get around to checking out. I got Rock and Roll up there in the gun seat, and I got Hawk there, the Colonel Hawk version from the MMS down there in the passenger seat, and so yeah, I have fun with this. So this is really cool. I love the way they did this. Now, having the front tire smaller than the back, I think that would maybe have been a mistake. But the shocks are pretty cool, and you know, it's got a little heft to it, a little weight. Now you can take this carriage in the gun seat out of this, and it'll be like the original Ostriker if you want. What I'm disappointed is the original Ostriker. You still need to get your 30 Christmas songs to you by tomorrow, right? Yes, please. That would be nice. You know, you can start sending them to me so I can start making videos. No, the engine, this cover came off of the original Ostriker, and you can actually take the engine out and replace it, you know, and work on it and stuff. And this just doesn't do that because of this. And I wish they'd have found a way to do this and that, because that was original. And originally it didn't come with a tow hook, and this one does. So I think that's an improvement. So you can tow the MMS with this. So it's pretty cool. I do like the Ostriker, and yeah, that's Footloose's ride, man. Anytime you saw him in the comics, the cartoon, he was driving an Ostriker. In the comics, he drove the armadillo. And yeah, I did drive an armadillo a couple times, I think, in the cartoon, but his primary mode of transportation was the Ostriker. So I was glad I got to show it off with Footloose. Now for Buzzer, he just hung out on the Thunder Machine, you know, with Thrasher. They don't have one of those yet, but it's rumored that that's going to be their HasLab this next year. So we shall see. We shall see. Okay, so for Buzzer, yeah, I don't really have much to say about Buzzer. I mean, I like him. He's my kind of like my least favorite Dreadnought, but I love all the Dreadnoughts. He's their de facto leader when the Z family isn't around, the Zartan family. You don't have 30, thankfully. You may not have 10. There's a couple I'm abandoning because I don't really like them. Hey, send me what you want, Jess. I'll play them. Bear's got 3 of them for me. So Bear the Gen X GM has provided 3 Christmas songs, which is awesome, from his whole album. So check out Zeg Media. Check out Just Law's channel. They got some cool stuff. Anyway, that's my take on Footloose, Buzzer. So now we got to do a mashup. So that's the whole point of this, right? But instead of like normal, I have provided a little bit of a video here. Hey, DL, what's up? National Parks Princess in the house. Hey, DL, I'm gonna say hi in the chat, like I always do. It is good to see you, my friend. There we go. It's good to see you. It's Good to see Jess. It's good to have Cool Gamer in the house as well. He likes to rock with us. All right, so like I said, I have a little bit of a video for you, so I'm going to pop out here for a little bit and play this video for you. This is my mashup of Buzzer. Yeah, Jess is welcome to join the radio show if she wants. She's one of our music contributors. So what time is it in California when it's midnight here? Oh, it's like 3 hours difference, Jess. So if it's midnight, it puts it about 9 o'clock. Yeah, or 9 p.m. next week. I have more days off. Oh, cool. A lot of us are going to have some time off because of the holidays, but that's my mashup video for these two guys. Now for the loadout. We got M16 for Footloose as his primary weapon. Now, for Buzzer, primary weapon, chainsaw. Now, he also has the battle axe and the axe flail, which is kind of cool. Let me see. It might be on there. I have several new songs in it. Yeah, that would be cool. Big rain coming in. Yeah, we need to. We've had rain quite a bit today, DL. So we're pretty close, though. You know, you're just over the Sierras from us. Now, well, it's a long way, but Nevada between us. Just a little state. But yeah, he's got the rocket launcher as his special weapon. So he's got his special weapon. I want to show this off because this is a cool update to the original, which was just a standard toy with no, didn't have a little rocket. So you take it off and the backpack off. But backpack is not going to do us any good in the mashup. But this has a little teeth on it, like and then it fires a little missile, and you can put it on either side, like you're loading it or like you're firing it, and it doesn't really have much room for it to go in the back there. So it only goes in like right there. So you can make it look like he's about to load it. And then he fires it and it comes out, fires. Pretty cool. With rain and days off, I will stick you stuck indoors. Yes. I'll try to get Logan to play my songs before you need to go. It's the second hour. So, the community clips happen right after the first hour of the show. And so we'll get right into it, as soon as we can. But yeah, so he's got the rocket launcher. But they both have, so you got extra ammo back there, which is kind of cool. They both have a sidearm, so let's take out Footloose's sidearm, and we'll compare that to Buzzer's sidearm. They're pretty much, you know, look at that. Footloose versus Buzzer. You know, maybe they're compensating. You have to get them in on time. Jess, I know, no hiking adventures in this rain. I get it. Yeah, Jess has to get her stuff in on time. Otherwise, we're going to have some fun trying to get our videos made. Hate hiking in the rain. Oh, you know, I love the rain, but I don't think I'd like to hike in the rain. But anyway, his holster's like way back tight on his belt. So he's got his sidearm, and then he's got his combat knife here. Let's see how these stack up between Buzzer's knife and there's Footloose's knife, and there's Buzzer's knife. They look about the same, actually. In fact, they are different mold. They're not the same mold. This has just the blade on one side, and this has the blade on both sides. So, you know, so stacking up, I think Footloose wins that category too. He's got a better combat knife. Primary weapon, Buzzer only has the chainsaw. And depending on distance, if there's distance, Footloose is going to get him because he's got the M16. Up close, though, you know, he can block with that M16, but it's going to damage it. I think Buzzer would have him in a close-up fight. And if they had no weapons at all, hand-to-hand, one-on-one, it's hard to say. I don't know, because Dreadnoks are tougher than they portray them. NPC, yes, that would help. Like tonight at the latest, so I can make the clips. I think I have like 6 new ones. That would be nice, yes. Tonight would be great. But you know, he's got the axe and the axe flail, and then you've got the rocket launcher. And I'm not putting him back in the footlocker, but so let me bust them out. So we can compare this. You know, get the axe flail and the axe out here. Not his glasses because we don't want to lose those. Where'd the axe go? So, as far as special weapons, I don't know. Footloose is all distance. Buzzer's all up close. At a distance, Footloose has him. Up close, I think Buzzer's got it. You guys let me know what you think. Try to get them on my channel before Christmas is over. That would be nice. Yeah, you have a week, Jess. That's all you got left. That's it. So, it's up to you. Let me know who you think would win in a battle royale between Infantry Trooper Footloose and Dreadnok Buzzer going head to head. I think if at a distance Footloose has got him, up close I think Buzzer's got the advantage. So that's my take on who would win in a fight between Buzzer and Footloose. And that's my matchup. Hope you enjoyed that. But I do have something else for you tonight because we're going to do the checklist in 1985 on what they have in the classified and what they need in the classified. And there's a very big gaping hole in the 1985 classified, even though they only have one of the original carded figures that they have not put in the classified yet. It's my favorite character, but we'll get into that. I got a video to share with you. Instead of going through the file cards and saying, you know, just giving my take, I'm gonna play this video and then give my opinion of what they need in the classified line, and then we're down to the last bit. A word from our sponsor, like Tiger says. The only new things on your channel are those 2 Thanksgiving songs. Yeah, they were cool. All right, so here we go. Let's check this out. I'm going to turn the other music off, and we're going to play my On Joe Take 74 1985 checklist for classified series.
On Joe Takes 74. 1985 G.I. Joe Classified Checklist. Roll call. Yo Joe. Airtight. Alpine. Barbecue. Bazooka. Crankcase. Dusty. Flint. Footloose. Frostbite. Heavy metal. Lady J. Keel halt. Quick kick. Shipwreck and Polly. Snake Eyes and Timber. Toll Booth. Cobra. Crimson Guard. Eels. Lampreys. Snow Serpents. Televipers. Tomax and Zaymar. Dreadnoughts. Buzzer. Ripper. Torch. So to recap, still needed in a classified series from 1985. Bridge Layer Driver Toll Booth. And Mauler Driver Heavy Metal. Cobra Moray Pilot. Lampreys. We ain't never getting a USS flag. Admiral Keelhaul. So just put it out of your mind. The last carded figure from 1985. My favorite Joe. The Hostile Environment Trooper. Airtight. What in the hells is wrong with you, Hasbro? Let's get this done.
Yeah, that was cool. The Guardians special, Guardians of the Galaxy special, Christmas special with Kevin Bacon. That was awesome. I really enjoyed that. So yes, I'm glad you got to see that, Gio. All right, well, that's my checklist. I mean, they need the Admiral. They need Toll Booth. They need Kill Hall. I don't know, the Admiral's Kill Hall. They need Toll Booth. They need the Heavy Metal, and the only Cobra they need is Lampreys. So Lampreys, or however you want to pronounce it. Like the AI said, Lampreys. I thought it was kind of neat the way it said it. Watching Christmas horror movies. We still have Tiger and I still got to watch Scrooge, so we're probably going to watch that tonight later on. But we'll see. Depends on if they're awake. They're awake now. So yeah, there it is. Why they haven't gotten around to one of the carded figures, I don't know. So hopefully this year or the next they'll put out the last 1985 carded figure of Airtight, my favorite. For me, that's the penultimate classified figure that I need for my collection, and they don't have it yet. I want some like a Wild Bill, and there are others that I need for my top 10. In fact, I think those are the only two for my top 10 that I need is Wild Bill and Airtight. But Wild Bill's from '83, and he came out with the Dragonfly, which is expensive as all get out. Now it's $300 when it was part of the HasLab, which I couldn't afford, and now it's like $500 to $700. Depending on where you try to buy it. So it's insane to get the Dragonfly. But as far as the 85 collection is concerned, they could make a Mauler tank. Other companies have done it in that size. So they could have Heavy Metal with the Mauler, or they can put him out by himself. They can do a bridge layer. It's a smaller tank with a bridge that goes across. It's pretty cool. So they could have Heavy Metal. Now, Kill Hall, they'll probably just have to put out as the Admiral, and because we're never getting a 12-foot USS flag. Somebody had 3D printed one, and there's a video. It's pretty cool. Watched some Santa Sleighs last night with that Goldberg wrestler guy. It's a horror comedy, pretty funny. I can imagine. So far this year we've only watched the Christmas Chronicles and Jingle All the Way, but we'll probably watch some more with our fam and around Christmas time. But
Andy has requested us watching the Christmas Story. That's a tradition.
Oh, okay. Well, they want to watch the Christmas Story again. I will probably fake watching that because we watched that last year, and it's not one of my favorites. I know a lot of people love the Christmas Story, but for me, it's like whatever. I always just kind of fake my way through it until last year when we did a take on it. So for Fridays. So this Friday we got Scrooge coming up. That's what we're going to be talking about. Yeah, Tiger's over there. She's about 5 feet away from me. DL says hi, basically.
Hi.
I guess it's hi. But anyway, so there's my checklist. There's my mashup. There's my take on Footloose and Buzzer. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. I still have my own Joe Takes video to share with you. Usually Joe Takes run about a little over an hour, and that's where we're at. So it is. Thank you. We did. We had to buy a new tree topper, the star, the snowflake. It's beautiful, and it actually has that thing effect where it has that thing on the ceiling. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And so there, yeah, it's a Christmas tree. Looks pretty good. And we've got it right there in front of our front window. And it's been years since we've been able to do this. And so we're really happy. We got stockings by the chimney. And we're just doing Christmas. And I hope you guys are too. Those of you who watched in the replay, thank you so much. Jess, DL, Cool Gamer, thank you for being with me. Everybody else who's watching, do the YouTube thing, like, share, subscribe, all that. You guys know how to YouTube. There's my StreamYard. Thank you. They've been really awesome. I like the way StreamYard works. It's definitely worth the money I pay for it every month to bring you my takes and our Friday shows and our radio shows, and we just have a good time. We've got 2 live streams left this year. We've got games coming up, but tomorrow we have our Christmas Radio from the Hilt special, episode 40, and that'll be the last Radio from the Hilt of the year. Always nice to see you, Logan. I know I can find Jess here too. Yes, always great to see you, DL. It's awesome. I love your videos too. So much fungus lately. Fungus among us. They've been great. You've been awesome videos on all. I never thought I'd be that fascinated by my mushrooms and fungus, but you've got some cool stuff going on. You'll pop on tomorrow evening. Cool. Let me put this back up here while I finish up here. Now, there is. We got the Striker back there. It's just, I showed off a lot of toys tonight. Got some on the mantle up there. It's been crazy here. Yeah. It's been a crazy year, Justin. So that's what's going on this week live, and then that's the last lives that we're going to do for the whole year. Fridays is our Christmas episode of Fridays. We'll take a look at Scrooged. Love that movie with Bill Murray. I guess it's the same kid from the old one, except he's an adult now. Obviously, same actor. Yep. You guys are talking about the Christmas Story. Yeah, they did a new one. I haven't seen that yet. We might watch that too. So I haven't seen that. That might make it better for me. You can watch the old one with the new one. So we'll see. But yes, my kid Ben, their partner Andy, has requested that we watch that this year. So we'll probably will. We watched Monty Python and the Holy Grail last weekend for our Christmas party instead of a Christmas movie. So there you go. But there was some folk that hadn't seen it in the group, and it was a lot of fun watching it for the first, seeing them watch it for the first time. It was cool. So yeah, have a good Christmas. Very Merry Christmas, everybody. Like I said, we do have games coming up. Let's see, Monday. Let's see, our next game is on Monday. It's our holiday game. And so that's going to be fun. And then we've got an Isle of Dragonhead game coming up on the 28th. And Saints of Fair Moon, our annual New Year's game with Rascal and Lucy's. Renee is going to join us for that. So we're going to have some fun. And that is definitely going to be on the 29th. So we got a game on the 28th and 29th. Jake Pendragon is running Isle of Dragonhead on the 28th. And I'll be running Saints of Fair Moon on the 29th. And then on the 22nd, just this coming Monday, I'll be running a holiday game where the medieval fantasy characters have to save Santa Claus. So it's going to be fun. You too, DL. I appreciate you being here. You should watch Krampus and A Christmas Horror Story. William Shatner's in that one. I might, just because William Shatner's in it. That dude's been around forever, man. Almost as long as Dick Van Dyke, who turned 100 this year. That's pretty cool. But anyway, yeah, we be respectful of those who have had losses this year, because we have friends that have had some serious losses. So heart goes out to them too, and we wish everybody that Merry Christmas. And on that note, I'm going to sign off. And we'll see you for the radio show tomorrow night. We've got a lot of Christmas for you. So we're going to have some really cool stuff. 100. Yeah. 100. All right. So I'm going to have to say goodnight. Logan out on that one. And I'm going to play my Aunt Joe takes and the outro. And we will see you next time.
And the road feels long. 3 soldiers driving with a Christmas song. Dusty at the wheel says, man, we're making time. Airtight in the back, sips coffee on the line. Footloose next to him, smiling at the starful sky. Says the universe is bigger than the reasons why. They pull off the road under holiday lights. Just a quick gas stop on a peaceful night. But a roar shakes the calm like a split inseam. Chainsaw buzzing like a wrecking dream. Leather boots stomp with the mean design. Troublemakers gather at pub number 9. Christmas at pub number 9, where tension rises but the stars still shine. One side breathing like it's all just fine, the other side losing its mind tonight. Back up, shout and let it all unwind. But steady hearts hold a steady line. Christmas ain't ruined by fool's design, not even at pub number 9. Buzzer the dreadnought with the chainsaw kicks the market door. Growling, who parked that truck by my bike out front? Before Footloose shrugs, brother, take your time. Nobody wants trouble on a Christmas night. Torch the spark, happy brood flicks, matches bright. Ripper swings metal just to feel that bite. Dusty whispers to Footloose, you got this fight. Airtight size, man, this ain't my night. But Footloose steps out with the mellow grin. Says, breathe deep, let the peace begin. The chainsaw roars like a wild design. I'll shred your ride into holiday signs. Christmas at pub number 9, where the wild ones push past the line. One side standing with the soldier's spine, the other side losing its mind tonight. Back up chanting, hit that sign, but steady hearts never resign. Brothers in arms hold their line, even at pub number 9. Chainsaw screaming, sleigh bells ring, and snow kicks up as the sparks start spinning. Dusty warns, that's my truck, so best not cross that line. Airtight groans, can't we just get home this time? Boots plant firm in the drifting snow, calm as a monk in the mistletoe glow. Brother, let the nonsense go. Then a single throw drops the whole sideshow. Christmas at pump number 9, where peace wins out every time. Chaos scrambles in a tangled line. A slip, a spark, then they all decline. Falling in the snow, making crooked signs. While steady hearts call it cosmic design. And 3 friends roll off down the state line. Merry Christmas, pump up number 9.
Logan's room full of Joe take dreams. Crimson guard with eyes on the team. Snake eyes silent and mean, but tough to rile. Roadblock rhymes and cooks with style. Duke as the first shirt, making with a plan. Cobra commander schemes with his clan. Scarlet sharp hits hard, flips fast. Destro's armor gleams from the past. Logan's G.I. Joe takes fierce and honest view. Red versus blue, it's up to you. Stay a while and listen for the consumerism. Logan's G.I. Joe's takes given with enthusiasm. Zartan shifting sneaks in disguise. Storm Shadow's blade cut through lies. Baron is cold with her deadly aim. Shipwreck laughs, wins the game. Doc's healing hand in the fray. Flint shotgun clears the way. Major Blood's battle cry echoes near. General Hawk leads, we cheer. From the hilt on YouTube, tune in for a day. Joe takes to help you with your play. Let's put these characters to the test. Logan's the G.I. Joe gamer, plays it